Do you remember that deal that Obama struck with Iran? He promised to lift sanctions, providing $10 billion in cash and gold to Iran if they promised to stop their nuclear proliferation. Looks like they didn't do it, folks, from what I'm reading. If you read this AP article that we have for you, Iran approved to import an additional 130 tons of uranium. And on Friday, their state TV, it's called Press TV. It's actually done in English. And, and actually that is a very strategic move on their part because they want us to understand, for those of us who don't speak Farsi, that they are, in fact, still purchasing uranium. This Friday report is coming out of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran. The spokesperson is saying, quote, the Joint Commission monitoring the implementation of a 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and the P5+1 approved the purchase of the part of Iran during a meeting in the Austrian capital of Vienna on Wednesday. So Vienna knows what they're doing. They know that they're going to be buying this uranium. You know what? They approved the sale. Tell me what's up with that. They went ahead and said, you go right ahead and you buy all the uranium you need. And meanwhile, our ridiculously treacherous president has given them, $10 billion in cash and gold to do so. Now, the Senate, meanwhile, and I rarely take anything off the New York Times because honestly, I don't like reading tabloids and I don't like reading fake news. But in particular, I found this article pretty telling, so I decided to present it to you today. The Senate votes to extend Iran's sanctions authority. Now, the Senate knows that in the coming 8 years, with a Trump presidency over the next 8 years, we have the ability to curb Iran from getting their hands on nuclear weapons. And many of the sanctions that were suspended during the Obama deal that went into effect last year, the senators are voting, and I'm quoting here, 99-0 to help ensure that the U.S. could quickly reimpose the sanctions if Iran violated its obligations under the agreement. So the sanctions regime is how we hold Iran accountable, strengthening our security and deterring Iran's hostility toward our allies, especially the state of Israel. This is coming from a Democrat senator in Michigan. He goes on to say, diplomacy is our way, a preferred course of action, but it doesn't always work in a vacuum. It only works if it's backed up with credible deterrence. And you know what? It looks like that deterrence, we could see a reimposition of these sanctions. If they don't stop buying uranium, which was part of the agreement initially to stop the purchase and the implementation of uranium as they go forward with nukes. Meanwhile, they're chanting death to the U.S. and death to Israel. And I'm not trying to bash Iran here, folks. This isn't a religious message. This is simply a message to extend the information that they are, in fact, buying tons of uranium. And our Senate has a heads up on it. And it looks like we could see the reimposition of these sanctions with a Trump victory.
In case you haven't heard, InfoWars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalist. InfoWars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the InfoWars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to InfoWars.com/app and download today. InfoWars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the InfoWars store that are only available for InfoWars Prime subscribers. That's InfoWars Prime at InfoWars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.
Do you remember that deal that Obama struck with Iran? He promised to lift sanctions, providing $10 billion in cash and gold to Iran if they promised to stop their nuclear proliferation. Looks like they didn't do it, folks, from what I'm reading. If you read this AP article that we have for you, Iran approved to import an additional 130 tons of uranium. And on Friday, their state TV, it's called Press TV. It's actually done in English. And, and actually that is a very strategic move on their part because they want us to understand,